Come on, it's story time. You guys have seen the title of this video. I want to take you back in time and teach you about some of the things that I've learned over the past couple of years. You know, the year was 2015. So we're talking about 5 years ago. I had actually gone back to college and I was going to finish my degree, my 2-year degree. I'm 28 now, so I was probably about 23, 24-ish at the time. And I decided I was gonna go back to school, so I did. When I was there, I was surrounded mostly with, 18 to 22-year-olds that all were, just exploring kind of their life and what they wanted to be, and obviously a lot of promiscuity and just a lot of socialization, things like that. I felt like an outsider for a long time in that environment. One, because I was older, but two, because I looked older. Three, because I thought a little bit older. But the fact that I looked older really bothered me. And it wasn't that I was just like, oh man, this guy he looks like a super senior. It was the fact that, as you guys guessed it, I was pretty much balding. My hair was thinning, and that really bothered me, especially compared to like these 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes who all have a ton of hair, good looking. Anyways, short story. It made me really insecure about myself, and it completely changed the way that I started socializing with people. And it really had an effect not only on my social life, but on my confidence and how I approached situations, and kind of how I don't want to say was an alpha male, but was the star of my own life, if you will. It took me out of that role, and I think I kind of sidelined myself, which is really sad to hear, Fast forward a couple months, and I found myself in London at the time. I was doing a study abroad in London and in Rome, and I was gone for 6 months. And while I was in London, I came across this brand that you guys have probably heard about, Quiff & Co. And they were the first people that I'd really ever seen do this thing called, I thought they were called Quiffs at the time because of Quiff & Co. But I thought they were called Quiffs, and they were toupees, I guess, and it replaced the hair that a person had lost. And I was in absolute wonderment of it. I'd never seen toupees or hair systems before. I mean, I'd heard about the common tropes, which are that toupees are pretty disgusting. They're not good, and you don't want to have them. They're the butt of the joke. And this is the first time in my life that I saw something and I was like, whoa, this could be life-changing. And I shared it with my mom, and she was like, wow, that's pretty cool. These guys look amazing. The before and after is incredible. And they were advertising for hair systems for, I don't know, man, I think it was like $2,000 to $4,000 US. It was pretty expensive. And I got really bummed. I got super bummed, because there was no way that I was going to be able to afford a $2,000 to $4,000 purchase every 6 months. I was in college and I didn't have any money coming in, and up to that point in my life I had never made anything more than really like 15 to 22 bucks an hour. I'd never seen any other possibility in the future, so it didn't seem probable to me. And to be honest with you, I kind of dropped it cold right there. I put it in the back of my mind as like something that would be nice, something that I wish I could do, but I couldn't do. And for the next 5 years, this is 5 years ago, for the next 5 years, I really started to suffer mentally. My social anxiety went up. And you can ask anybody that knows me, I just started wearing hats all the time. All the time. The only time that I wouldn't be in a hat was when I was dressed up, and I always felt so insecure about myself when I was wearing a suit. I looked great in the suit, but the fact that I couldn't cover up my hair loss really bothered me. And I shied away from those events, I think, a lot. It bothered me substantially. But it just affected my life. You know, I remember about 3 years ago I started learning how to salsa dance, and I would go to socials, which are, you know, at usually 10 at night, and they go till like 2 or 3 in the morning. They're amazing and they're super fun. But I would wear a hat when I was out dancing because I knew I was gonna get sweaty and I was gonna look like I was bald. And that really, really just took my confidence for a whole whirlwind. And someone came up to me, it was a woman, she asked, well, why are you wearing a hat? Because the attire that people generally wear when they're salsa dancing is something that's kind of, I'm not gonna say dressed up, but you know, you dress up and you look nice. The women are kind of dressed up either in dresses or some you know, skin tight outfits or something like that. They're showing off their body. The guys are trying to, you know, obviously impress the girls. Typical nightlife scene. And here I was kind of dressing down, to be honest. You know, I would dress in like some dark black jeans or something like that, or skin tight, and I'd wear a shirt kind of like this with a hat on, like a backwards hat especially. And they'd always ask me, and the ladies would always ask me, like, why are you wearing a hat? That's because it was just out of custom. And you know, I'd say, oh, it's just because I sweat a lot and I don't like sweat running down my face. We've all got those lies. We all know what it's like to make up stories about why we cover up our hair, why we try to avoid other people seeing it, and forget about swimming. Or any other event, really any type of sweating would bother me. You know, in the gym, I started wearing hats, but then I started wearing headbands and things to cover up my hair loss, which, guess what, guys, none of that stuff covers it up. Everybody knows that you're suffering from hair loss, and it's just something you got to deal with, right? This is 5 years later, guys, that we're talking about, that I've discovered hair systems. 5 years later from when I was already in pain and dealing with this and having it affect my life. I stopped looking because I didn't think I could afford it. I just dropped it like a bad habit and didn't look back, didn't do anything, just kept on trudging forward. And I thought, hey, maybe one day I'll be rich enough to get a hair transplant. Little did I know that underground there were people that were using hair systems, and a community had been formed and was developing, and people were helping each other out, and it was going well, and people were literally living around me that had a hair system on that felt good, that they had confidence, and they were going about their lives. And I just didn't do anything about it. When I got a hair system this past January of 2020 was really the first time that I was wearing a hair system. I immediately felt this longing to help every single one of you, because immediately it was like I had resolved this issue that had been a burden to me, that I had been carrying around for the greater part of a decade, really, to be honest. My hair loss started around 21 and always bothered me. But before that, even when I was like 10, my brother used to make fun of me, saying I was gonna lose my hair because my dad was bald and my mom has very little hair too. I've been carrying around this burden, when I think about it, for more like 20 years. Like 20 years of this stuff that I've been dealing with. And being afraid of it. I can't tell you how much of a weight that's lifted off of me. The fact that guys, I really don't think about it anymore at all. I really don't think about hair loss. I don't think about, oh, is someone judging me because, you know, I'm bald, or I don't think about the other stuff too. I don't think about like, oh, is someone judging me because I'm wearing a hair system? Do they know I'm wearing a hair system? I literally don't think about it. I was in the gym today. I was working out super hard, and I was just jamming with some people. We were having a good time. We were talking, and I was sitting down right next to them, super sweaty, all this kind of stuff. And the thought actually crossed my mind. I was like, man, the way that I communicate with people is so different, and I never think about my hair loss. I never think about what I look like to other people. I'm just confident in who I am. And that is an amazing feeling that I wish on every single one of you. That you don't actually think, what does this other person think about me? But instead, feel so confident in who you are and love who you are and appreciate who you are that you bask in your own presence. That you sit, that you stand, that you speak, that you listen with agency and authority over your dominion. That you walk and talk and eat and dance and play and work with this charisma and confidence that other people, to be honest, are envious of, because you've had a weight lifted from you that has been holding you down for years. This is what I wish for every single one of you, and this is what I wish I knew 5 years ago. It's really that simple. Now, here's the cool thing. You don't have to spend $2,000 to $4,000 every 6 months to get the luxury like I thought that I had to 5 years ago. Is it an addition to your expenses in your life? Absolutely it is. Absolutely. But it's not $2,000 to $4,000 every 6 months. It's nowhere near that. You're not going to be spending anywhere near that. But the benefits that you're going to have are going to be insane. It's an absolute win when you consider the benefits versus the cost, the financial expenditure. So, guys, if you're watching this, just learn something from my story. Hear my passion for it. Hear what I'm trying to tell you. And if you have any questions, of course you can reach out to me here on YouTube or on Instagram. I answer a lot of stuff over there. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from my successes. Be better than I. We'll talk soon.